Hello, welcome everybody. You know, this is kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. My phone is messing up a bit. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of weird because like it hasn't really dawned on me. It hasn't really dawned on me. Hello. It hasn't really dawned on me that this is like the final stream of this current model. It hasn't dawned on me that this is the final stream of this current model before Saturday, like Saturday's brand new model. Like, it is crazy. Like it's funny because I've been doing so much to prepare for Saturday, and like it hasn't like completely hit me that it's like, oh shit, this is like the final day. This is like the last day of like 1.0. Like I don't feel it. It feels so weird. I don't know, maybe it's because I've been streaming for so long, so it feels kind of weird. But yeah, welcome on in, everybody. Welcome on in. Yeah, as the title suggests, this day is basically, this day serves as not just the last day of this current model. Okay, I gotta bring this up. Actually, no, let me continue my train of thought. Not only does this day serve as the last day of this model, but this stream is also a stream where we're actually going to be watching like my lore video. Actually, fun fact, I have 2 lore videos, and we're going to be watching both of them because it'll help prepare for what I have prepared for Saturday. But we'll watch that in a sec. But I wanted to just talk a little bit more, just for a little bit, before we get to the video stuff. So what I was gonna say was, funny enough, I say that this is the 1.0 model, but technically speaking, this is actually 1.5. But 1.5 was literally like, it's the same model. It's just that I added more like toggles and stuff. Like, I added extra stuff to this model that I couldn't do, and I also fixed an issue I had with the I had an issue with like the rigging for it that I was able to fix it with this model. Thankfully, the experience I've had with this model and a few other things, and even watching tutorials, it did help me out when I was working on like the 2.0. So, you know, when that date, when it comes in a couple of days, you will get to see that. Let me take a sip real quick. Is there a preview of the 2.0 model? So that's gonna be debuting this Saturday at 7 p.m. EST. I have posted on my YouTube shorts of the... Oh, hold on. I actually have to... Oh, wrong one. Hold on. I actually have to do this manually because I haven't... Nope. Oh my god, I forgot. Here it is. I forgot to set up the mixer thing. Sorry about that. Man, I forgot my own toggles. Holy shit. Here. Oh wait, you know what? Let me set that up. Actually, let me set it up. I forgot to open up the app for that. I was like, wait, I'm missing something. But don't worry. I have this, so it's like, it's all good. But yeah, like basically, right now I've only shown like, in terms of the preview for the next model, if you go on my YouTube, I've been advertising. I can show like the previews. Like we could go through like the advertisements. Two of them, which are videos, were made by I had commissioned 2 people to make promos. I'm gonna obviously the credits for them, I put the links to their accounts, I put the credits to them on the video and everything, like on the description, and on the debut I will like obviously show the credits for them. But we can actually go through with that. Like, we'll go through with that, we'll check those out. Okay, actually, also I might that reminds me, I gotta remember to like, I'm gonna have to disable some things from Mix It Up. But then again, I don't think it's gonna, now that I think about it, I don't think it's gonna work if I don't have the program, so it should be fine. But yeah, we basically, this stream, this is also gonna be a bit of a short stream, so I don't expect us to be here for very long, but I did wanted to use this stream as an opportunity for people to like you know, like we're gonna go, this is more of like, here's the lore that I made, here's a couple of things about this, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my journey, and then this will be the kind of like the final, I mean, obviously, you know, the final day of this current model. And like I said, I don't want to spoil too much of like Saturday. I have a lot of things planned, a lot of things to show. I'm very excited. But yeah, like this, you know, again, I still don't feel like this is my last day with the 1.0 model. It feels so weird, but it is. Yeah, this model, I've had it for the last 3 years. To give it for people that might not know me, well, let me get a drink real quick. Excuse me. For those of you that don't know me too much, I actually started, like, I started streaming in like August. I think if I recall, it's like August 7th or August 8th of 2021. And at the time, I had just a PNG. And I had used a program that basically could set it up to make your PNG talk. Like there are I think now there's like a lot more programs for that, but the one I use, it was a PNG that had like a design of this model. And then it wasn't until I think it was like February 3rd of 2022 that I debuted this model, the 1.0 model. And now technically this is 1.5 because I guess 1.05 because I added a couple of extra rigs later, but design wise, this is the model design. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And since this is like a special stream, I'm actually gonna show off a little bit more. Actually, wait, no, I should do it like this. Hold up. Oh my god. Whoops. Hold on. Where are you? Yep. So this is like the model. And like I said, this, in terms of the stuff I rigged, this was my, here, I'll shrink myself down just to get a better view, a full body view. This was my, like I designed this model, I rigged this model myself. This was the third model that I rigged. The first two were like practice models. Like I practiced the models, you know, that kind of stuff. This was my third model, and it helped me with understanding how like VTube Studio worked. I mean, not VTube, well, yes, how VTube Studio worked, how Live 2D worked. And honestly, like, it was good to just have that experience. Like, there were things I still didn't like. There were things that I was still struggling a bit with it, and it is kind of meant to be a simple model. But honestly, for all the stuff I've learned from it, it really helped me out a lot, you know? And yeah, like for the last 3 years, I've kind of just been doing streams more. It's more of like a side, like I don't consider it like, you know, I've said this before, while there's a lot of things, and then with the 2.0, I do want to do a lot more things with my 2.0 model. For the most part, doing this kind of stuff was just me wanting to experiment more, do things differently. I really loved VTubers. I got into VTubers in 2021. And what's funny was that even before VTubers, I was considering like trying to do streaming. I had been watching streamers since like, I would arguably say since high school. So this was like 2010s era. And the thing was, like, I had the idea of wanting to do streaming, especially streaming art. And I did on a different website on Picasso. I did try streaming art. But I wasn't really good at like the whole, like I wasn't talking. It was like a silent, like I draw kind of stream. And then when VTubing, and the thing was like, I watched streamers, but you know, most of the big streamers at the time, they, you know, they showed their faces and all that stuff, and they were talking a lot. And, you know, sometimes there's that insecurity of like, you know, showing yourself like that. And I kind of had that. But then with VTubing, that kind of solved half of that issue, because you didn't have to worry about showing your face, which I really love. And I really think it benefited a lot of people. So yeah, my I went with, well, you're gonna see the lore. We're gonna go through the lore, but for the 1.0, and this is something that I'll be honest with everybody, this was something that was already like planned out from day one. Like, I'll talk about this. I'll reveal this. You know, I'm gonna talk more detail in the debut, but here's the real truth. 2.0 was always meant to be the, like, how do I explain this? 2.0 was always going to be the model design that I really wanted. Like, that was the, I consider 2.0 like the true form or the real form or the ideal form. And you know, we're gonna go over my lore. You're gonna explain everything, but to give you a little bit of some backstory, the reason my 1.0 was like this, like outside of the lore, like we'll go through that, was that at the time I wasn't confident with my with being able to rig like complicated models, so I purposely made my models simple. And in the last 3 years I've kind of like learned a lot from, like, you know, just being a VTuber and like things I've learned from other riggers and stuff. And initially I had plans to like make outfits for this models, do a lot of cool things with it, and at first I was really down for it, but well, I'm not gonna go into too much details, but like a lot of things in my life happened and I was a little bit unmotivated, but I still wanted to keep streaming. I enjoy playing video games, sharing the video games I love. I enjoy streaming art. I enjoy showing stuff, and there's a lot of things I really want to do for 2.0. And now I'm kind of, so for me, 2.0 is definitely gonna be more of like, in my opinion, that's like the model that's gonna be the one that's like the default model. That's gonna be like the main one. That's gonna be the one that I don't see myself like it's not like I do want to at most do like new outfits and stuff, but in regards to like the design, the kind of like the center, the face of the brand or whatever, 2.0 is going to be like the new face of it. And on Saturday and Sunday I'm gonna be, you know, you're gonna be seeing like the whole change of everything. It's gonna be like, you know, practically night and day, like night and day and everything. And yeah, that, I mean, there's a lot I could talk about in the last 3 years of like my journey as a VTuber, but yeah, it's been interesting, I'm not gonna lie, especially in the space. And there's a lot I could say as both like a VTuber myself, but also a fan of VTubers, especially with like, you know, like, you know, I've been a fan of the indies, I've been a fan of the corpos, I've been a fan of the ex-corpos that have gone indie or joined other corpos. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff like again, I've been here since 2021, so I would reckon it's been like what, about 4 or 5 years now. And it's been an interesting journey, but I will say this, like, there's been ups and downs, there's been highs and lows, there's been a lot of like nice to meet yous and goodbyes, like there's been a lot that has happened. But I will say I still really love like VTubers, and I love the potentials. I love the fact that, like, you know, I feel like a lot of us, especially in like the entertainment industry, like, you know, especially like it's when you grow up like with things like Hollywood and stuff, there's the expectation that like being a singer or performer or everything, you have to have like a really good look. Like you have to like having a face for it is like, it puts a lot of pressure. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are very skilled and have very amazing like talents and abilities, but given that we grew up where, like, you know, like your face, how you look was so important, it was like always kind of difficult to express that. And thanks to VTubing, now there's a lot of people that can just like kind of like show off their talents without having that worry. And honestly, and again, there's a lot I could gush about, but there's so many cool things with this. And I would say that even if the last few years have been like, you know, there's been ups and downs, I do think that some of it leads to change that ultimately will benefit everyone, and it'll benefit the future of VTubing. So even if there are highs and lows, even if there's been like moments that haven't been easy, I do believe that it's more like things are changing, and sometimes change can be rough, but sometimes change can ultimately is sometimes needed in order for things to be better, you know? All right, I've done enough enough yapping, at least for now. I will still yap, but I think enough time has passed where I think now we can start watching the actual lore videos. So let me set this up real quick because I was trying to set something up and I think I fricked up. Okay, this might look a little awkward. Let me just, I'm gonna test something. Okay, this shouldn't be an issue. Whoa. Oh god. Oh god, I hear myself. Oh god. Oh my god, I hate when you click on a YouTube video and it just starts it starts the video and you can't like fucking control it. Like that shit gets me. Okay. All right. I think this should be okay. Okay. I think this should be good. So let's transition over here. I'm actually gonna whip Charlie out. Okay, let me go on to this. I also have to put it on desktop audio because well, I mean, I guess I could I do it like this? I think I could do it like that. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Let me whip out Charlie. I think it's this one. Yeah, I want Charlie to watch with me. You know what? We don't need the chair. I don't mind standing like this. But yeah, this is, so for people wondering, this was my debut video for when I debuted this current model. And this debut video basically explains, like, this is like the very first one. There's there's technically two lore videos, but this one is like the main one. This was like the first one I made when I debuted this model, and this one kind of explains the story of how and why I'm this, well, what pretty much happened to me. I think what I would like to do is, what we're gonna do real quick before I start the video is I'm actually gonna let the video play itself, and then we're gonna I think, yeah, this should be fine. I'm gonna let me just make sure that you can see the whole thing. Okay, I kind of set it up in a way that I didn't want it to show too much. Okay, yeah, this should be fine. But yeah, we're gonna play the video, and then after we play the entire video, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my thought process, the videos, and I'm also gonna add some extra little things I came up with when I was thinking about like my lore and everything like that. So I'm gonna pause the mic and I'm gonna let this video play, and then afterwards we will come back when this video is here. By the way, this video is 16 minutes. So yeah, like, it's 16 minutes. I might play this one more time at the end in case anybody, like, you know, wants to watch it again. But yeah, this is on my YouTube. Actually, here, I'll even share the link on stream. So if anybody wants to keep this and watch it on your own accord, that is the link. But yeah, we are gonna watch this video. I will mute my mic. I actually have soup too, so I want to eat. But yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic. Y'all enjoy the video, and I will see you when it ends.
All night in the human world, human girl's life. This is the tale of how a human girl's life would forever change, all thanks to a magical teddy bear and a cursed pendant. On a peaceful night in the human world, there was a young lady fast asleep in the comfort of her personal room. As she continued to sleep, suddenly a mysterious ball of light appeared in her bedroom. It looked down at the girl, as if it knew who she was. Soon, it flew around the room, inspecting the girl's belongings, including her collection of stuffed animals. However, it stopped at one particular stuffed animal. It was a teddy bear, sitting on the bed shelf above the girl. The ball of light looked carefully at the bear, inspecting it more. Then, in a heartbeat, it went inside the stuffed toy, and soon, the bear itself began to glow. It radiated a light that swallowed its whole body and began to transform. As the girl continued to sleep, she heard someone call out for her. "Hey, hey, please wake up," said a voice. The girl slowly opened her eyes. Though the room was dark and the girl was still sleep-ridden, she could make out the being sitting right next to her. In front of her was her teddy bear, but he looked different. He looked more alive and had a green cloak. "Hey," he said. "I'm so sorry to awaken you, but it's very important that we meet, even if it's still dark right now." The girl quickly got up and was shocked to hear the teddy bear talking. "Charlie," she said, "is that you? Are you actually talking to me right now? What's going on? Is this a dream I'm having?" The girl asked in her confused state. "Let me properly introduce myself. I am actually a being known as an otherworldly helper. In order to communicate with you, my true form had to possess one of your most cherished belongings. Though I do not actually have a name, you are free to call me Charlie, since it is the name of your teddy bear." The girl was still confused, but was slowly convincing herself it must all be a dream. Still, she continued to ask, "Well, regardless, what are you doing here, especially at this time?" "My job as an otherworldly helper is to help those who are unhappy with their lives. I came to this realm because from what I've been observing and sensing, you are not happy with your life." Charlie soon looked at the girl with sadness in both of their eyes. "Deep down, you've always felt like your life was monotonous and dull. You had an ordinary upbringing, went to an ordinary school, got an ordinary job, became an ordinary adult. But you are not happy about this at all. It has even left a small void in your heart." The girl was speechless, but he was right. She had recently come to realize the dull, boring life she had been living in her world. She wasn't miserable, but she wasn't content either. "All that being said, there is one thing you love," continued Charlie. "You love stories. Stories about heroes saving the day. Stories about worlds being explored. Stories about legends. Through the media you've seen, it has helped you cope with the great world you live in. Deep down, you wish for a world of adventure, of excitement, of myths and legends. You even desire to meet and develop friendships with many." "You're right, Charlie," she said. "That's how I truly feel. I felt like that ever since I became an adult. If only I could live in such an amazing world like that." "What if I told you that is why I'm here, that I can make that wish of yours come true?" The girl looked at the bear, stupefied and more confused. How? How would you be able to make such a childish dream like that come true?" With this, of course, Charlie reached into his cloak and began searching for something inside. He struggled a little bit due to the lighting of the room, but soon found what he was looking for. It was a pendant, carried around by a necklace. "This pendant will make your dreams come true. All you have to do is accept the pendant in your heart and you will be able to come to a world you've dreamt of. It will even change your form, so you don't need to be a human anymore. You could be whatever your heart's desire." The girl was shocked by the bear's offering. She was still confused of the situation. Is this all real right now? Or is this just a dream she's having? Her mind didn't know how to process it. But after a few seconds of silence, she asked the bear, "Is this really true? Will this pendant make my dreams come true?" "Yes," said Charlie. "All you have to do is wish on the pendant for your dream and it'll come true, and you will no longer have to live this monotonous life." The girl looked at the pendant once more. At first, she was still hesitant about the offer, but the idea of being able to leave her dull life behind and come to a magical new world was strong. Finally, after shaking some doubt in her, she grasped the pendant in her hands and held it close to her. Please, I wish to leave this dull world behind and live in a new world filled with magic, with adventures, stories, excitement, with strong friendships. And I wish to change myself into something I feel happy with. Please, grant this wish. Suddenly, a strong light appeared in the room. The light consumed the room, and the girl could no longer recognize her surroundings. She then felt herself being engulfed in the light as well. Her consciousness began to fade, and the last thing she felt was the warmth of the bright light before completely dozing off. The girl began to open her eyes after what felt like hours. As she finally did, she felt a light breeze of wind passing by and heard the sounds of birds and critters. She saw that she was in a forest, but not an ordinary forest. Though she didn't know it, something about the forest she was in was magical. She looked all over and was speechless as she admired the area. But right away, a familiar voice grabbed her attention. Oh good, you're awake. It looks like the pendant worked. The girl soon turned to her side to find Charlie next to her. As she looked at him, however, she was surprised by how big he was. Charlie, I just realized, you're so much bigger than before. How did you get so big? I'm big? Charlie said, confused. No, I didn't change at all. In fact, it's more like you got small. Much smaller than before. But it's part of the new form you wished for. What? I'm smaller? What do you mean by... Before she could continue, the girl felt something off about herself. She immediately noticed that her body was very different than a human body, and her hands had also changed. Shocked by all this, she noticed a river nearby and ran to it to see her reflection. As she did, she was completely surprised by what she saw. The girl, who had left her dull world as a human, had completely changed her appearance. Her new form could only be described as a small deer girl. Seeing her form in the river and realizing what she had become, she freaked out. What the hell is this? She screamed. Why am I a small little deer girl? This isn't what I wanted to look like. Charlie realized what was going on and asked her, wait, you didn't want this form? No, Charlie, said the girl. I didn't want to look like this. I look like a rejected mascot character. Charlie was confused by her statement. That's very strange. I think the form fits you well, especially since you adore cute characters and stuffed animals. The girl grabbed Charlie by his cloak and brought him face to face with her. I look like a fucking Tamagotchi, Charlie! This is not what I wanted to look like! I wanted to be a beautiful tall deer girl with strong antlers, long luscious hair, and a big badonkadonk for people to look at! I don't have any of that in this form! This is not what I wanted! Charlie was shocked by the girl's outburst, and after confirming again that her current form was wrong, Charlie thought for what was the problem. However, he soon noticed the girl's pendant and realized the grave error he had committed. Oh no. I think I know what happened to you. The girl looked at Charlie, waiting for his explanation in the most dissatisfied state she's ever been in. You see, when I was finding the pendant to give to you, I had many different pendants that I went through, but since it was dark in your room, I had trouble finding the right pendant. In the process, I accidentally took the cursed pendant by mistake and gave that to you without realizing it. I'm terribly sorry. You what? She shrieked. You gave me a cursed pendant? Is that why I look like this
this now?
Unfortunately, yes. The pendant's curse changes the user's appearance, which is what happened to you. The girl continued her meltdown.
Well, can't you do anything about this? Can't you at least change me back to a human again? Or undo my wish?
Charlie looked sad as she pleaded for a solution from him. Unfortunately, I can't do that. The curse will not allow me to change you back, nor will allow you to go back to the human world. I myself have been trying to break the curse inside that pendant for a long time. It's something I still have yet to solve. The girl looked upset and put Charlie down as she looked back in her reflection in sadness. I can't believe this. I'm stuck like this? Maybe forever? This isn't what I wanted. What's gonna happen to me now? Charlie felt awful for the situation and consulted the girl. I truly didn't mean for this to happen. All I wanted was to give you a better life. I'm so sorry. But I will promise you this. I will be by your side and assist you in the new world in any way I can. I will continue my studies, and one day I will find a way to undo the curse of your pendant. I promise. The girl looked at Charlie and could feel his genuine apology, but she still felt terrible and sighed heavily. I appreciate the apology, Charlie, but what am I gonna do now? I'm in this new world that I'm a stranger to, and I don't even have anything. How am I gonna survive here? Charlie looked at the girl and was determined to help her out in the situation. I may not be able to take you to your old home, but I can at least make you a new one here.
What?
But before she could say another word, Charlie began to summon magical light around him and chant a spell. Suddenly, in a blink of an eye, the girl witnessed a treehouse magically appearing on top of the tree in front of them. This surprised her again.
Whoa! What is that?
She said. Your new home. It may look small, but I created it with all the essentials you need, said Charlie.
Whoa, Charlie! You can magically create tree houses like that? How?
Magic. Simultaneously, the most simple and complicated solution to all matter. But let's not discuss the details. Let's go inside and check it out. The two climbed the ladder of the treehouse and opened a trapdoor that acted as the entrance. Inside the treehouse, there was only a few furnished items already there. There was also a door that led to the bathroom. The girl looked around her new home, and in the process her attention soon focused on a desk and chair with a computer and tablet in the room.
Charlie, you even got a computer and drawing tablet here?
I know how much you enjoy creating art. While I can't send you home, I can bring items from your home into this world. So I brought the items you use for art to help you settle in more. Plus, since you will be living in this world for a while, I thought it would be helpful for you to use the computer to learn about the world you live in. And do not worry about things like internet or bills or rent or anything. The magic of this treehouse will cover those essentials for you.
Wait, really? No rent or bills?
You know, maybe living here might not be so bad after all. After a while of settling down more, the girl and Charlie stayed on the bed talking more of the situation. So I guess I'm living here now, huh? This is really what I wished for, she said, losing some of her excitement over her wish. I know the cursed pendant situation has soured the experience, but you are living in the magical world. The forest you live in is especially magical. This world has all the things you'd ever want. The girl looked at Charlie. Though she was still uncertain of the new world she lived in, she did feel deep down that things were gonna work out well. Well, I guess it's still better than the boring plain life I used to have. I just wish I was in the form I wanted to be. I promise you, I will not stop studying or looking for answers until I find a way to break the curse. I will admit that I will have to leave occasionally to do my studies of the curse and find some answers. However, I promise I will be there whenever you need me. Even if I'm away in another world, I will know when you need me and I will summon myself to you. I promise you. Charlie reached his paw to the girl, as if to make a truce with her. The girl was surprised by his promise and was a bit hesitant about him after everything that happened. But still, he was most likely her only hope at having the pendant's curse removed. She reached out and held his paw back, and they both shook together. Guess this is the beginning of a new life I'm living. I will make sure you live the life you've always wanted. Mari.
So yeah. Okay, first off, I'm so sorry I had to leave like that. Let me actually go back to just chatting real quick, just so that we can have some background music. First off, my apologies. I actually had to like step out a minute because my dad, oops, wrong thing. I had to step out a minute because my dad needed me to help move the cars around. So yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Honestly, that was my first lore video. With the exception of the music, I basically did everything in that lore video. Yes, I pretty much did everything. The only thing I didn't do was the music. The music was, I think I put it in my credits, but basically the music was, it was a combination of stuff I found on, there's like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon music. You could probably hear a little bit of that, especially at the ending. And then there was, actually, wait, are the credits on the video? Okay, it's in the thing, but yeah, pretty much like the music was from like, I think it was Dova Syndrome website and stuff like that. I gotta put a proper thing for that. But yeah, that was my first lore video. And, you know, I'll say this, like, I kind of wish maybe for like I'm hoping that maybe for a future project, I kind of want to do something like this, but obviously have like narrators and voice actors. So honestly, I would like to do something similar to this, but maybe have like narrators, like like I need to find, I see that VGen people, you could hire people to do voice acting stuff, but I think there's another website for that. But yeah, pretty much like, if I would say this, like I really did enjoy that project. We're gonna watch it again, and I do want to go into like some details with it. Okay, they show the Doki Doki Literature collab. Okay. But yeah, let's go back to it. And yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit as we watch it. Also, thankfully, I'm glad that there was no audio, double audio. For whatever reason, I think it's because for whatever reason, it like doubles the desktop audio that I have by default, but it also, I have it on the application audio capture thing, so it's like a little bit finicky with that. Also, I want to double check something. Okay, I need to figure something out with that, but we will worry about that later. Anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna talk a little bit about my process of this video.
This is the
tale, like, we're gonna put it
how a
again.
Human girl's life would forever change, all thanks to a magical teddy bear and a cursed pendant.
I'm gonna lower the volume a bit.
On a peaceful night in the human world, there was a young lady fast asleep in the comfort of her personal room.
I won't put the entire thing, but just to kind of talk, so I did these illustrations. I think in total there was about like, I want to say, I think 24. There was a good amount for what I was going for. And I definitely, for this art style, I definitely wanted to go for like a very soft, like I wanted my lore to feel like a storybook. I wanted it to be like a storybook. I wanted it to be something that was like, you know, because that's the thing about me is like, I actually kind of one of the biggest actual personal dreams of mine is to actually make a children's book. And just honestly, I consider myself, I want to do storytelling, you know, not just children's books. You know, I want to do comics, graphic novels. I want to do video stuff like this. Like I said, this kind of format, I actually enjoyed it. We're gonna zoom in a little bit. Also, fun fact. Okay, I guess I can finally say this. So Charlie. So fun fact. Charlie is. Oh, sorry. My dad's here. I just like double check about it. Anyways, fun fact. Charlie is actually based off of like a real life teddy bear that I've had since I was actually like a little girl. And what's funny is like, there was a couple of times in my life where I kind of there was one time in my life where I had actually given him to a younger cousin of mine because I was going through like this weird like I was going through a time where like I wasn't getting I was like a teenager, but I wasn't like other teen girls that were into like makeup and fashion and drama shows. I kind of still liked cartoons and I had plushies. But the problem was that I had like relatives that didn't take me seriously about that. Like they kind of still treated me like I was a child, even though I was like 14 and 15. So I kind of tried to like force myself to like be seen a little bit more mature. And one of the things I did was I actually gave Charlie to a younger cousin. But then what's funny was that around the time I was like maybe 18 or 19, that same cousin, I went to her home and like we were hanging out and she still had him, and she actually told me like she was planning, like she didn't really want Charlie anymore, that she was gonna give him away, or not throw him away, but she was like, oh, I'm not really into him anymore. And I think she kind of insinuated that she was either gonna like throw him to like a donation box or give him to like a random stranger. And I told her like, actually, can I have him back? And she's like, yeah, sure. And I still have him. So yeah, like as you could see, and that's kind of why I'm holding Charlie, like you could kind of see the original version here, just to like, I'll move myself up a bit. Oop, no, not that. But yeah, this is like the lore shows like the original teddy bear version. And as you could see, when the otherworldly helper possessed him, he kind of changed dramatically. I'm not gonna lie, he really changed dramatically, but I guess that's just how it works. Yeah, it's crazy.
Girl. The ball of light looked carefully at the bear, inspecting it more.
Also, I really like these the effect.
It went inside the stuffed toy, and soon the bear itself began to glow. It radiated a light that swallowed. Hey.
Also, I was the one that also added like subtitles, because I was like, you know, I'll admit, like, if there's one thing I would have liked to change, but back then I wasn't comfortable with this. Now I'm more willing to do this if I ever do something like this in the future. The only real thing I wish I could have done for this is actually hire somebody else to do like the voice acting. I mean, this is like more of a storytelling, like, you know, I'm telling you a story kind of thing. So yeah, like I would probably want to get a voice actor. I'm trying to remember. I think, you know, it's funny because this lore, I'm trying to remember like what was the original. I think there was a different idea behind it, but as you could see, because again, like I mentioned, and I will get to it as the lore explains, I'm like this because of a curse. And as I mentioned in the meta, it was mainly because I wasn't confident with like with making a model based off of my initial idea for 2.0. So yeah, I kind of settled, but I think you can kind of see what the lore implies, especially with the whole like my current form and like what the idea was. And
deep down,
oh yeah, this is the sad
you
part.
Felt like your life was monotonous and dull. You had an ordinary upbringing, went to an ordinary school, got an ordinary job, became an ordinary adult. But you are not happy about this at all. It has even left a small void in your heart. The girl was speechless, but he was right. She had recently come to realize the dull, boring life she had been living in her world. She wasn't miserable, but she wasn't content either.
Okay, so I wanted to add to this. So like, okay, I did not intentionally wanted this to start off like so doomery and cynical. Like I look back on this and I'm like, this is mad depressing. Like even though back then, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, back then my mind was in a different place, but even still, I was like I was so weirded. I'm not gonna lie, looking at this part, I'm like, yo, this is like mad depressing. But I did kind of, I think when I was working on this lore, I wanted to kind of, because I think my idea behind what the story of this lore was like, you know, for a lot of VTubers, becoming a VTuber is like a very, like, I wouldn't say it's completely life-changing, but it's kind of like I have seen stories of a lot of people that have changed, like not even just the corpos, but the indies who have changed thanks to VTubing. And in a way, being a VTuber is kind of like you're stepping into a whole new world, and you're able to kind of display yourself in a way that like you feel a little bit more in tune with how you feel about yourself inside. And I think my concept with this lore kind of stemmed from like the idea of like, yeah, for a lot of people, being a VTuber is like stepping into like a magical world that allows them to have a little bit of like, especially for people that, you know, maybe they grew up being like repressed, or maybe they were made fun of or bullied for being themselves, and then they grew up to pretty much repress themselves, and being a VTuber kind of was like their kind of like their healing path to finally being their genuine true self. So I feel like this kind of concept came more from like the idea of like, also the other thing about this concept, I think it also comes from the idea of like how, like, you know, being an adult can be a bit difficult. There's a bit of hardships, and it's very easy to kind of fall into like, I wasn't trying to go for like, oh, I'm miserable, I am sad and depressed, I'm a doomer defeatist or nothing like that. I wasn't trying to go for that. I was kind of going more for like how like it's not as exciting, or like there are things that you get so caught up with like the everyday life that you don't give yourself like the freedom or like the enjoyment or whatever. So it's like kind of So that was kind of what I was going for here. And then as he mentions here, like, yes, I do love stories. And just like in real life, sometimes one of the ways that we cope with like how rough life can be is through stories, like storytelling, the things we enjoy in the stories, as Charlie says.
Saving the day. Stories about worlds being explored. Stories about legends. Through the media you've seen, it has helped you cope with the great world you live in. Deep down, you wish for a world of adventure, of excitement, of myths and legends. You even desire to meet and develop friendships with many. You're right, Charlie, she said. That's how I truly feel.
But yeah, just to kind of add to this, oh yeah, she says this.
How would you be able to make such a childish dream like that come true?
So like another thing about me is like, I'm the type of person that, especially, I would say I've always been like this. Like I feel like this is a part of me from like when I've always had this from my childhood that I don't think I've ever really turned off or let go of. But like, I've always been the type of person that like, especially I think now as an adult, and I've tried to like kind of balance this a bit more, but I've always coped with imagination. Like I've always liked to daydream about scenarios and think about like not just stories and and all that stuff and whatnot, but like whenever I've gone through like a heavy or dark experience in my life, I've just coped with like falling into like I feel like nowadays people refer to it as like the whimsical like delusions or something like that, but I think alternatively I refer to it as more of like, this is my imagination just letting me daydream, not daydream, but like, you know, kind of think of a story or a scenario. But sometimes I also think of situations where I kind of think about like, what would I want to have it happen, especially during like very rough times. So in a way, that's kind of like what this part of the lore also kind of references. And like, yeah, the whole childish dream thing is kind of like, you know, for a lot of people that could be seen, you know, there are some people, especially people that aren't, you know, like I've always believed in the concept of like, you should always keep a part of your childhood inside of you. Like a part of your spirit should reflect on your upbringing, but in a way that's like positive. And I think there are a lot of people that they'll grow up as adults and they kind of just forget what it's like to be a child. And I get that there are some people, like, for the record, I'm not talking about people that have grew up with like very traumatizing or very rough childhoods. I'm talking about the people that like they had like they remember, they had childhoods, like good childhoods, but then they grow up and they just really take the adult thing to the point where like seeing an adult enjoying things that might be considered a little childish is like viewed in a negative way. So in a way, it's like I feel like that statement is meant to reflect more on like, some people might see it like that. All right. And then they get the pendant. Actually, this part I couldn't. Also, like I said, I apologize. I had to dip a little early because not dip, but like my dad needed me to move the car, so that's why I was like, BRB, guys. So yeah, sorry about that.
Finally,
but this part is where I left.
Some doubt in her, she grasped the pendant in her hand and held it close to her. Please, I wish to leave this dull world behind and live in a new world filled with magic, with adventures, stories, excitement, with strong friendships.
Yeah, this guy's kind of cynical.
I wish to change myself into something I feel happy with. Please, grant this wish. Suddenly, a strong light appeared in the room. The light consumed the room,
flashbang. Whoops.
The girl could no longer recognize her surroundings. She then felt herself being engulfed in the light as well. Her consciousness began to fade, and the last thing she felt was the warmth of the bright light before completely dozing off.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Like flashing light.
The girl began to open her eyes.
Alright, this is the part that I couldn't like watch a lot, but yeah, this is like I said, like I said, also you probably noticed like the colors changing, which I did it on purpose because I wanted to like before, like the colors were like obviously a bit more like purpley. It was like a purple thing to reflect on the night, and then here we have like something a little bit more brighter, and then I think later, oh no, we still stick to this the same colors shift, but I did that on purpose because it's kind of meant to reflect on like the darker tone being like where she was in like the grade world. I think at one point I had the idea of wanting to like make it like, you probably noticed that this story is technically done in monotone, but using like one hue to tell it. I did alternatively wanted to do a version where the original world, so the part where it's all purple and stuff, would be all grayed out, and then when they get to the magical world it would be all colorful, to reflect on that. But yeah, that's like a thing. Okay, so this part I kind of want to watch because I didn't get to watch this together, but let's watch this together again.
In fact, it's more like you got small, much smaller than before. But it's
also mystery dungeon music.
What? I'm smaller? What do you mean by... Before she could continue, the girl felt something off about herself. She immediately noticed that her body was very different than a human body, and her hands had also changed. Shocked by all this, she noticed a river nearby and ran to it to see her reflection.
Oh boy.
As she did, she was completely surprised by what she saw.
Uh-oh.
The girl, who had left her doll world as a human, had completely changed her appearance. Her new form could only be described as a small deer girl.
Yup, that's
Seeing
it.
her form in the river and realizing what she had become, she freaked out. What the hell is this?
Yeah, girl, sorry.
Why am I a small little deer girl?
I'm like, whoopsie.
This isn't what I wanted to look like.
Oopsie doodle, you became a mascot.
What was going on and asked her, wait.
Oh yeah, this was like me trying to be like really comedic. So again, I apologize if it comes off as cringe, but like I wanted it to be like, I wanted something like this where it's like, yeah, girl, whoopsie doodle.
You didn't want this form?
He's like, bruh, what?
No, Charlie, said the girl. I didn't want to look like this. I look like a rejected mascot character.
Oh, come on, Sanrio would love you. Tamagotchi would love you.
That's very strange. I think the form fits you well, especially since you adore cute characters and stuffed animals.
Honestly, I realize now how like unintentionally patronizing this line is. Like, damn, like you really, this is exactly like when the adults didn't treat me like a teenager because I like stuffed animals. It's like, damn, bro, you try to make me feel even more juvenile than like the adults made me. Oh Lord.
The girl grabbed Charlie by his cloak
And
and
I,
brought him face to face with her.
Bitch.
I look like a fucking Tamagotchi, Charlie!
Yup.
This is not what I wanted to look like!
Yo, girly is pissed.
I wanted to be a beautiful, tall deer girl with strong antlers, long, luscious hair, and a big badonkadonk for people to look at!
Yo, I need
don't
that
have any of
ass.
that in this
I
form.
still need that
This
ass.
is not what I wanted!
Oh my
Charlie
god.
was shocked by the girl's outburst, and after confirming again that her current form was wrong, Charlie thought for what was the problem.
Like, yo,
However,
you
he
fucked
soon
up,
noticed
Charlie.
The girl's pendant and realized the grave error he
You
had
fucked up,
committed.
Charlie.
Oh no. I think I know what happened to you. The girl
Uh-oh.
looked at Charlie, waiting for his explanation in the most dissatisfied state she's ever been.
She mad. She mad.
You see, when I was finding the pendant to give to you, I had many different pendants that I went through, but since it was dark in your room, I had trouble finding the right pendant. In the process, I accidentally took the cursed pendant by mistake and gave that to you without realizing it.
Damn, Charlie, like, you really fucked up there. You fumbled. Like, bro. Oh my god, I'm like having too much fun with this. Like, watching this lore video. Oh my god. Oh man, like, yeah, no, I'm like, bro, you fumbled. Like, maybe next time don't make a wish. Ladies and gentlemen, the moral of this story is if you are given a magic item by someone that could grant you a wish, make sure there's no curse in it, because that could have some complications. And make sure that if it happens late at night that you turn the fucking lights on, because yeah, there could be some complications.
I'm terribly sorry.
Oopsie, girl. Like, fuck.
You what?
She shrieked.
Yup.
You gave me a cursed pendant? Is that why I look like this now?
Unfortunately, yes. The pendant's curse changes the user's appearance, which is what happened to you. The girl continued her meltdown.
Whoops.
Well, can't you do anything about this? Can't you at least change me back to a human again? Or undo my wish?
Charlie looked sad as she pleaded for a solution from
Okay, I'm like, sorry, I'm like just enjoying like this like moment here. But yeah, that I wanted to do something a little silly, like Like I said, this project, this lore project was something that like, it was a big experiment. Like, it was something brand new that I've never done before. Yeah, I think this is okay. So this is the point where I think we were like, this was the point where I think I came back when I had to help my dad move the car.
Charlie began to summon magical light around him.
And again, there's
cast a
mystery
spell.
dungeon music. Oh,
Suddenly, in a blink of an eye, the girl witnessed a treehouse.
did you hear that? That's that sound effect. That's the that's one of the sound effects in Pokemon in the original GBA games where it's like, I think it's for like the move like Moonlight. No, it's like is it Healing Wish or something? There's a move that heals, and like that's the sound effect it plays.
Magically appearing on top of the tree in front of them. This surprised her again.
But yeah, imagine getting a tree house with no internet or bills or anything like that. It's like, yo, that's what's up. And yeah, and then this scene happens.
Experience, but you are living in the magical world.
I do like this music. I'm not gonna lie. I will say, like I said, half of this music is like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, because it is a old childhood game. You know what? They did release Red Rescue Team. I played Blue Rescue Team, but I wouldn't mind trying out Red Rescue Team. It is like, I played the DX version, but nostalgically, the original DS game was the one I love. I also have to play, okay, I've never played Explorers of Skies, but I gotta try it. Anyways, I'm like going on a tangent. But yeah, that more or less is the 1.0 lore video. So that's the original lore video. So that it basically explains why me, Mari, got cursed. And you can kind of see on my necklace that the cursed necklace continues to dangle. Like here, I'll do a close up. But yeah, if you see here, just don't mind this for a sec. Like this necklace, it has like the cracks, which are like the cursed parts to it. And yeah, that's kind of like that's kind of like the aftermath of like, that's just kind of like how the curse is. And yeah. All right, let's go back here. And yeah, so that was the one point, like I said, that was the original lore. And now we're gonna watch the second one, because I did make a second lore video. Now this one, okay, admittingly, I did not advertise this one super well, but that was my fault. This one is a little bit different because I purposely made this video. I purposely set this video as a like, it's kind of meant to be very separate, but I do think it's important that we watch this video. I think I showed it off on stream when I finished it, but this is something that, let's just say, it's gonna add a little bit more context about some stuff. Because one question you might be wondering is, why is the pendant curse? Like, why is there a cursed pendant? Why does it exist? Why is it there? Especially when there's the implication that that pendants normally don't get cursed. And yeah, okay. I'm gonna do it like this because when I tried to do it the other way, it was like annoying as frick. So I think this way might be better. But yeah, this is the second one. This one is 9 minutes, so it's shorter than the first one. But let's just say this is like, this one I did this like 7 months ago. Yeah, 7 months ago. So let's take a look at this one. I want to make sure. Okay. Okay, so real quick before we watch it, let's go back to the thing here. So I actually added this description. You can't see it here, but it said, the description reads, Mari's cursed pendant changed her life forever, but where did this curse come from? Expanding the lore of heroine Mari, we learned the origins of the pendant and learned the story of one of the previous users and how their wish changed everything. Okay, so unlike the original lore, I actually did put the credits here. Okay, I should probably change that. I'll probably change that later, but yeah, let's watch this video. Okay, I think this format should be fine. Yes, okay.
Once upon a time, there was a sad, lonely...
Okay, so just like before, we're gonna watch it. I'm gonna mute. We're gonna watch it together, and then I'll talk about this lore video, but let me also raise the volume. So I'm gonna mute, and yeah, enjoy this video.
Once upon a time, there was a sad, lonely girl. She had no friends and no family and lived a sad, lonely life at a foster home. She wanted friends, but was too shy and anxious to approach anyone. She believed her life would be nothing but loneliness and misery. But one day, she was visited by an otherworldly helper who took the form of a bird. The helper gave her a magical pendant that can help grant her deepest wish. She accepted the pendant, and it gave her the ability of platonic charm. Those who would see her would become interested in her and have a small desire to befriend her. She tried the pendant out in school the next day, and immediately a group of students became interested in her. Soon, they became a close group of friends, something the girl wanted for so long. Their friendship grew and grew, and the girl was even adopted by one of the friends' family. She was so happy and felt like her life would be filled with love and friendship. Life was perfect. But one day, she noticed that her friends would sometimes hang out with other people and even befriend other people. To most people, it is perfectly normal for friends to have other friends, but to the girl, she did not like it and immediately grew jealous. Feeling that she may get replaced or become a disposable friend, she tried to use the pendant's ability on the other friends, but it did not work. She went to the helper, asking him to give her pendant more power. He had tried to suggest other ways she could solve her problem, but she instead begged him for more power. Hesitant but feeling sorry for the girl, he granted her more power in the pendant. The girl was happy, but the helper felt concerned. The next day, the girl noticed that many people were interested in being her friend. The girl accepted these people, but soon realized that the whole school was charmed by her. Everyone wanted to be her friend, and her popularity grew and grew in such a short amount of time. She went from being the loneliest girl to being the #1 most popular girl in the whole world. It was overwhelming to her at first, but with how friendly, kind, and giving people were to her, she quickly accepted her newfound popularity. She became more content and happy. Perhaps a bit too happy. Greedily happy. She grew to love the attention and gifts people gave her. The more popular she got, the more gifts she got, and the more luxurious the gifts became. She grew to love these gifts so much. In fact, it became something that she would expect when she met new friends. She also met friends who had skills and talents that benefited her. Even though everyone saw her as a friend, not everyone she saw was her best friend. She started ranking people's friendships with her based on usefulness, status, and benefits. People who were rich, had amazing skills, or had power would be her best friends. Meanwhile, people who had none of those were ranked as her loser friends. She also made it very clear to them that they were her loser friends and that they needed to change themselves if they wanted to rank up as better friends. Since everyone was under her pendant's charm, they wanted nothing more than to become better friends for her. Sometimes these friends, who weren't as influenced by the pendant as others, would tell her honest things, like not liking what she said or crossing their personal boundaries. She would retaliate by scolding them and even hitting them for talking back at her. She would tell them they were no place to talk back at her and that they should unconditionally love her and please her no matter what. She would then force the pendant's charm to increase its effect on those people, forcing them to be absolutely devoted to her. Her desires affected the pendant to the point where the charm turned into a manipulating spell. People were practically brainwashed into friendships with her. She loved this power and had no desire to stop it anytime soon. Her popularity would turn her from a humble, sweet girl into a greedy, manipulating dictator who brainwashed the world into her fingertips. The otherworldly helper began to notice this and confronted her. He told her that she can't keep doing this, and this is not how her dream should have turned out. When he tried to get the pendant back, she attacked him and trapped him in a cage. She laughed at him, stating that the pendant is her property and will not return it back. The helper was disappointed in the girl and disappeared from his cage when she wasn't looking. Later on, the girl and her brainwashed friends created a huge monument in her liking. She climbed up the monument and prepared a speech for everyone. But at that moment, the helper showed up, this time with other helpers at his side. They confronted the girl, saying she abused the powers given to her and they must take her pendant away. She tried to attack them, but thanks to their magic, they ambushed her and grabbed her pendant. While the girl struggled to get up, the otherworldly helpers began preparing a spell. The bird helper told her that the spell would erase her and everyone's memories, and that things would revert back to how they were before she received the pendant. Realizing she would go back to her miserable, lonely life, she gained inner strength to get up and jump towards one of the helpers. She successfully attacked them and grabbed the pendant. However, she realized that the momentum of her jump made her jump off the balcony of the monument. As she fell, she tried desperately to channel the power of the pendant, hoping it would get her friends to save her. But just when she was about to channel the power, her own monument betrayed her. She felt her life slipping away. She struggled to stay alive, All she could feel at the moment was despair. Despair that it was over, that it all came to this, that it was all the end. And yet, she also refused. She despairingly refused to believe it was all over. In her final struggle, her last words were, "It's not over." The otherworldly helper looked down in sadness. They didn't intend for this to end. The bird helper felt incredible sadness and remorse. He felt failure on his end. He felt he could have done better to prevent all this. They comforted him while taking the pendant back from the girl. The pendant's corrupted light had faded away and was now a pitch-dark jewel. The otherworldly helpers casted their spell, erasing everyone's memories and reverting everything back to how it was before. They buried the girl in a cemetery where no one on the planet would ever mourn for her and no one ever knew about her. She started off as a nobody and died as one too. Since then, the pendant was taken back to the otherworldly helpers in their realm. The pendant would then be cleansed of any dark energies and would eventually be used for another person in need. Hopefully the pendant is in a much better place. After all, it would be a shame if it had some kind of curse in it or something. Her last words were, "It's not." Their spell, erasing everyone's memories and reverting everything back to how it was. She started off, would then be cleansed of any dark energies and would eventually be used for another person in need. Hopefully the pendant is in a much better place. After all, it would be a shame if it had some kind of curse in it or something. That would be silly. Speaking of the pendant, to end on a good note, apparently there's an otherworldly helper who made a huge discovery on his research recently. Something about him finally finding the right spell to get rid of a curse or something like that. Honestly, I don't really keep up with these tales a lot.
Okay, so I was trying to do a bit and I fucked up. Oh my god, that is my name. And also, oh my god, there's the credit. Okay. I was trying to do a bit there and I like fucked up and I'm like, god damn it. Okay. So yeah, that basically, that video kind of explains why my pendant is, what happened to my pendant, why it's cursed and all that shit. But yeah, that, I hope that was another project I did. I did this one this year in April. And for me, so fun fact, originally I wanted to do a comic. Actually, funny enough, I was going to do a comic of my 1.0 and then I was going to do a comic of this. But I actually kind of wanted to do another video, do something a little bit different. And yeah, this story, this was something that I wanted to do a little bit more simpler. I did do a different art style with this, and like, again, experiment around. I will confess, I am not good at drawing people. I am very shit at drawing humans. So like, I kind of like, when I designed this character, I did have like a idea in mind, but background, like, again, I also, I'm not gonna lie, compared to the other one, I kind of, I don't want to say I rushed this one, but backgrounds was definitely something that I was like, I don't really want to like utilize it unless it was for things like, you know, like getting the composition and tone. And again, this was me kind of experimenting more with like kind of like just I also experimented with effects on this. With the first lore video, I made that in a different program. I made it in what's that program I have? Hold on, let me look it up. What's it called? It's called oh wait, do I not have it? Shit, where'd I put it? So I had a it was a video editing program. I forgot what it's called, but it was basically like a free it was a video editing program. I wanted something that was very simple, and at the time I didn't know about CapCut, so like I kind of did the first video differently with a different program, and then later I did it with CapCut. So this one, I think I did it with that which explains the effects. It was like kind of my first go at it. Oh my god. Okay, this one. Okay, so this, you know what's really funny is like this, so this storyline is it's gonna, I don't want to say too much just yet, but all I'm gonna say is like my concept with this like girl and like what she wanted was she wanted friends, and like you can kind of sympathize with her about the whole like you feel lonely, shy, you know, you're not in the right mind space to like make friends. And at first everything was fine. Here, let me go back to that one thing. Everything was fine. Everything was so fine and perfect. And then she got jealous and got extra power, and then that extra power had a side effect that she ended up like kind of getting a bit greedy with. Oh my god, this is so okay. I'm not gonna lie, I was channeling my inner mean girl with this, but like this was definitely something that like I'm not saying like I know, okay, I'm not saying like I feel like there are some people that might be like this. But no, this was like something that it's like, yeah, no, this chick was like you gotta be talented to be my friend. I was like, oh my god. And then yeah, she just basically over time became evil, like, and sorry, I'm like yawning a bit. But yeah, and then the otherworldly helpers were like, yo bitch, you give us our pendant back.
Given to her, and they
like we can't have you with this power anymore. And then this scene, we see her taking it, but she falls in the monument. And then this part is kind of like, oh my god, this part. So I'm not usually somebody that does gruesome stuff, but I really wanted to emphasize like, oh, like it's kind of obvious like what was going on and what was it. So I was like, let me do a silhouette. Like I usually don't do like very, you know, like again, I'm not into gore. I don't really like that kind of stuff, but I wanted to do something like that. And we get this scene, this one, this is so like, I'm not gonna lie, even I was like, damn. Again, I'm not gonna drag humans, but I am proud of the composition of this. And then we get this, we get the close-up of the pendant, which, oh my god, that looks quite familiar. It's not the thing dangling in my neck, is it? Oh my god. And then this composition. And yeah, and then it ends on this screen. And yeah, that is basically the story of the pendant's origin. And like I said, this was another thing I wanted to experiment with, like doing this form of storytelling. And honestly, I really enjoyed like kind of experimenting with that. And yeah, that was okay. We're gonna do one more thing before we wrap up, but I actually wanted to show kind of the advertisement. So if there's anybody that hasn't seen like the ads, I've actually been pushing for like, I've been pushing for like, okay, we got to get like these I've been really pushing the promo stuff. I also been posting on like TikTok as well, just to kind of get that information out, but primarily it's been mainly in the form of shorts. I'm trying to remember what was the okay, so let's start with like, I'm trying to do this in like, I'm trying to think of like what was the order again, because it was in a very specific order. And then we'll wrap things up. Okay, I think I'm trying to, it's like loading in a weird way. I'm trying to remember I'm trying to do it in like a certain order. Okay, this was the first one. So I'm gonna show off like the, okay, this was like number 2. So actually what I'll do first is I'm gonna show off, I want to show these off. I'm gonna show off these trailers first, and then I'll show you the ones that I did. So I actually commissioned 2 people to make me like trailer videos, because like I wanted to like kind of just really emphasize the promotion. So this first one was made by here, I'll put the link of this one, but this one was made by this was commissioned by someone named Aiden Riz. And again, we'll go over more of this in the actual debut, but this is the first promo video, so this is the one we're about to watch. So that's the person I commissioned for this video. So let's watch this together. So yeah, that is a preview of the 2.0 model, the Silhouette. So yeah, and this second trailer, so this is the second trailer I posted. I actually posted it like early this week. And this one, I commissioned someone named Fear My Tear. So this is for the second video. So yeah, those were the 2 people I commissioned for this. So this is from Fear My Tear. So yeah, just like before, you get a little silhouette. And yeah, that was just like for you know, like I said, promoting like the model. So now we're gonna watch these shorts. Actually, oh fuck, I hate. Okay, hold up. Oh my god, I hate this like format of like the way they do the shorts, where it's like I'm trying to like set something up here. I think I'm just trying to see if I could find a way to like, hold on. I gotta change this a little bit because I don't think you could see it properly. Let me see, can I just put this a little bit, just okay, I think this should be fine. So yeah, these I was the one that made these. I made these shorts, and there's one video I also made. Yeah, just throwing in the Undertale. But yeah, that was the first one, and then this one, oops, and then this is the second one I made. So that's my 1.0. This current one is getting an upgrade. Oh my god, there's the 2 of them. Oh my god. So yeah, that's the comparison. Like there it is. Oh my god. Wowie zowie, what a design. And then you got both the links there. And then this was like the recent one. So this one is more of like this is an actual video, like a little bit more of my, here, let me move this just a little bit down. But yeah, this is the this one I made it myself. And yeah, let's take a look. So actually, this is actually a homage to like one of the early promotions I did for myself. If you followed me like before, ooh, what is that? Oh wait, what is that? That looks a little different. Wait, that looks a little different. Ooh, what is that? Oh my god, what is that? That looks different. Ooh. But yeah, this is actually a homage to like when I was promoting 1.0 too. So yeah, that is the promo work. So that's pretty much so far. That's pretty much all that I've posted in regards to the kind of like a preview, like a little preview of what the model is gonna look like. But obviously there's still things you haven't seen, and there's still things I'm like, you know, it's like you haven't seen it, you know. So yeah, and yeah, that was my debut, guys. I hope, I mean, that was my lore video. That's not my debut. My debut was on Saturday. It is in 2 days from now, Saturday, December 20th, 7 p.m. EST. That is my 2.0 debut. But yeah, that was pretty much like just to again, like I said, catching up on lore, catching up on like videos and stuff. So yeah, that was my 2 lore videos and my promo. Yeah, like I said, it still hasn't hit me that this is like the final 1.0 stream. It just feels so weird, you know. But yeah, these last 3 years, it's like I said, there's been a lot that I've kind of experienced in the last 3 years, especially like there's also things that I've had to deal with in the last 3 years. So it's been like a wild ride. But yeah, like I said, I've had some ups and downs, especially in the last 3 years, you know, especially personal stuff. And there are things as like, okay, I'll confess one thing. There are certain things as a VTuber that I felt like I could have done a little bit better with. There are things that I'm still kind of learning. There are things that I'll admit I was kind of hoping that I would have done or been at like a certain point, and it didn't really happen yet. And on the one hand, like, there is a part of me that I'm a little bit like hard on myself about that. But on the other hand, you know, well, I've said this before. This is not something that, like, I mean, I did this because I continued being a VTuber because I really do enjoy like VTubing. I enjoy VTubers. Even though the last like few years there's been a lot of ups and downs, I still enjoy VTubers. I still love it. I love VTubing. I love being able to play video games and streaming. And it's been an experience that like honestly has kind of like I've been enjoying it. And like I do want to try, especially for 2026, I do want to try to push myself a little bit more. There's a couple of things I would like to do, especially like going forward with 2.0. There's a lot of things I do want to try to kind of get through. I do have a couple of goals for like next year, which we will get to that like later on, like way after 2.0. So you know, before the end of the year we'll probably have a stream for that. But yeah, there's a lot of things, like, again, like I said, I am hoping that I could do a lot more things, but I also don't want to be too hard on myself, especially because, like I said, I have a day job, so it's not exactly easy to do this like as a full-time thing. But you know, I'm hoping to push myself to be able to do stuff that I've been wanting to do for a while. And I will say I'm very happy to be debuting my my 2.0 this Saturday. Like, I'm very happy, and I'm glad that that's like the last big thing before the end of the year. So I'm like blanking out a lot. But yeah, for like some final thoughts, what was I gonna say for my final thoughts? Oh yeah, so one very last important thing. So basically with 2.0, so 2.0, I've said this before, it's not meant to be like a massive rebrand. Like, I don't want, again, no spoilers, but like basically, like, if you like this design, it's not, I mean, you saw in like the short preview, like, it's not completely different from the previous design, but it's a design that like, but it's a design that, again, if it's more to how the stuff I like, but in terms of the branding, it's not too different from this. So it's not like I'm completely changing like brands. I'm still gonna be Heroine Mari. It's just gonna be like it's gonna be a different look. But also, I kind of mentioned this, that I kind of am considering 2.0 as a bit of like a reboot as a VTuber. Like, not a reboot as in like I'm changing the brand entirely, but it's just more of a case of like, for me, like, I feel like I've gained a lot of experience and knowledge, and I kind of want to treat 2.0 in a way of like, you know, like reintroducing myself, reassessing myself and everything like that. And because I've been promoting like the shorts and everything online, like, you know, I'm hoping that like, you know, like the debut, a lot of like, I don't expect a lot of people, but you know, hopefully a couple of people like show up, have a good time, you know, that kind of stuff. Also, so what I'm gonna be doing for debut too is after the debut, after I show off everything I have to show off for my 2.0 and everything that I'm gonna offer, like the lore and a bunch of other stuff, we are going to also be playing Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. So if anybody is interested in playing that game, we will be playing it after the debut. So I'm gonna be doing a separate stream playing that for a bit. But yeah, that's gonna be the plan. And also, basically, so I've talked about this, 1.0 debuted like in February 3rd of 2022, but moving forward, I think the only two I think we're gonna be like basically changing the anniversary celebration to December. Well, okay, hear me out. I consider August, like I think it was August 7th or 8th to be like the actual like anniversary of me being like a streamer. So I feel like if we're going by like the original, like when I started doing streaming, that is August 8th. I feel like that's like the more like this is me beginning this thing. But I think for the VTubing stuff, the anniversary of the VTubing stuff is gonna be probably like, you know, once we get to 2.0, that's gonna be the anniversary, the December 20th. And like I said, I will kind of go into more details about a lot of stuff for 2.0, but yeah, like I said, it just doesn't feel, it feels weird that like literally once I end the stream, this will be the last time that you'll see this model. But yeah, like I really did, I do love this model. I will say it does, I do cherish this model. Maybe, okay, I don't see myself using this model after 2.0. I did consider the idea of having like a redeem system, but probably I might just like, honestly, maybe I'll probably like get like a different model that is like a homage to this in the future. But again, like I said, 2.0 is gonna be like the new main model. This one I would say is gonna like probably more or less retired, especially because I got a lot of stuff, I got a lot of ideas I want to do with 2.0, and I'm very excited and I worked very hard on it. But yeah, to everybody who's kind of followed me and watched me, whether you've chatted on stream or you just lurked in the stream chat or you were a VOD watcher, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Like, thank you so much. Thank you for to anybody who's been here, whether you've been here for the 3 years or you've only just recently discovered me, or to anybody who knows me even longer, because I've been on the internet. I've had multiple accounts on, well, not like that, but what I mean is I might have a couple of people here that know me from like, you know, my other Twitter account from when I used to go on DeviantArt, like those days. Like, to anybody who is still here even after all that, I just want to say thank you so much. And like I said, this kind of feels weird because it doesn't feel like I'm leaving this model, but yeah, this model, this will be my last stream with the 1.0 model. And like I said, like it's been a crazy last few years, especially the last 3 years, but I'm very excited for Saturday. Tomorrow I am going to be focusing on just, actually that's another thing, I'm gonna be changing a lot of things to prepare for tomorrow. It's gonna be crazy, but yeah, thank you to everybody. Thank you for just supporting me. Thank you for everything, and let's have a good time on the debut. I have a lot of things I've been working on, I've been cooking, and I'm very excited to show everybody my debut. So man, I feel weird like like this model. Hold on, I just want to show off it a little bit more because like I won't be using it soon. So yeah, like to think that this model, I might as well go over like the last set of toggles. Like I have Charlie here, I have the hair, I have my short antlers, there's Charlie, I have this pen for my drawing thing, this is my angry face, this is my sad face, this is my shocked face, my cursed face, my tears face, like no, not tears, that's sweat, the blush, the tears, oh shit, oh god, I forgot to mention, oh fuck, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this, oh my god, why am I doing this? Okay, that's the surprise face, and then this is me like this. Oh yeah, by the way, I thankfully, I will say, I did do the smart thing for 2.0 to not set up the toggles for the numpad, because I realized that when I'm typing numbers, I actually use the numpad more than the numbers on the top of the letters. So yeah, crazy. Okay, I want Charlie back. He keeps me company, but yeah, like, I don't know, this feels weird. This feels really, really weird. I'm not gonna lie, it really feels weird. Like it doesn't feel like a proper goodbye. I mean, again, I'll still be here, but it's like this model, it's like, damn, after I exit the stream, this model's going into retirement. But yeah, I am excited for the start of 2.0 and what I have to show to everybody. So yeah, again, thank you all for supporting me, thank you all for being there for me. I will see you guys on Saturday, 7 p.m. EST. Okay, I will say this, I will have like I'm gonna try to set up a timer, so you know, I'm obviously for the record, like the stream will begin at 7, but I will give like a little bit of like maybe like a 15-minute or 20-minute I'll let people know, but like basically like there is gonna be a little bit of time, so you don't gotta like rush to get here at exactly 7. Like it's kind of like when movies have previews and stuff, but it won't be that long. So yeah, just yeah, 7 p.m. EST at December 20th, this Saturday. It is like what, like not exactly 48 hours, but kind of ish, like I guess. But I'm sorry, I'm like stalling at this point. I'm just stalling, but yeah, no, I guess to say this as one final proper goodbye, I do want to again thank you to everybody for the support. Thank you, and I guess in a way thank you to my 1.0 model. Like, you were the first model, well, not my first model, but you were the first main VTubing model that I used for my streams. Thank you for the experiences I've learned. Thank you for the memories I made. I'm glad to have been able to use you for lots of fun, amazing, creative stuff. And I will always cherish my memories with 1.0, and 2.0 is gonna be a whole new thing. But thank you 1.0 for the memories, and I'm forever grateful. All right, everybody, this feels so like depressing, but like it's you know, I'll be back like on Saturday, but this is the last time you are gonna see 1.0. And yeah, 1.0, it's gonna be different the next time we'll see each other. So thank you to everybody. I will see you guys on Saturday for my 2.0 debut. We have a lot of cool things to show, and we're gonna have a good time together. I will see you guys on Saturday for my 2.0. Thank you, everybody. You guys have a good night. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye to my 1.0. Bye. Goodbye to my 1.0. And have a good night, everybody. I'll see you on Saturday.